All right, we are back with another Ask a Vocal Coach.
Sorry.
Allison's already disturbing the system here. Today we're going to talk a little bit about performance mishaps, and then some people submitted some questions, performance-related questions. So we'll get to those too. Allison Cohen is with me again. Welcome, Allison.
Hi, thanks for having me again.
Totally, it's fun having you. So, I just want to apologize. How do I not talk about this? I'm sick. I'm under the weather, so I'm cold. So I'm drinking my hot water, and I've got my husband's ski hat on and my dark circles. I'll try not to get too close to the camera because the live must go on. Before we get to performance mishaps, first of all, the reason we're discussing performance mishaps, other than it's kind of fun. I want everybody to know that mishaps happen and it just doesn't matter. So there shouldn't be a lot of pressure to be perfect because that's not fun and that's not possible. But before I get to that, just want to remind you, you can get 65% off either one of my online vocal development courses, onlinewithjudyfine.com. Click on Gifts for Singers and check that out. Let's start with mishaps. Do you want to start with the list, Allison, or do you want to share your own?
We can start with a list. That works.
Okay. Now, I have that video of Malkosha because she sent something. So if you want to start with that one, I could share the video.
Yeah, sure.
Do you know what that goes with?
Yeah.
It has to do with her.
Yes, she mentioned that she was in the middle of performing and her guitar nearly fell off while she was singing. So shows a video of how she kind of soldiered on with that.
She really did too. Mm-hmm. So hopefully everybody can see that. And I have to go over here because I don't really know what I'm doing. There we go. I guess I should have mentioned that Malkosha doesn't speak English as a first language. I bet you could have guessed that. But you see, it went awry and she just dealt with it. She didn't even stop singing.
She didn't miss a beat. I was impressed. Yeah.
Totally. I'm impressed she didn't drop it. Because I think that's pretty
good. She has good reflexes.
I had a student, she was a young singer, probably like 15 years ago, and she did a student gig, and she sang 3 songs, and I only remember the Adele Set Fire to the Rain was one of them. And she forgot the lyrics and like freaked out, didn't know what to do. And so I crawled up in front of her on the stage on my knees, and I waited until I heard a chord change because it's a very repetitive song. So I had to hear a chord change to know where I am, and I got her back into it, and she finished the song. And at her next lesson, she was mad at me. I can't do 3 songs. There's too many lyrics to remember, because it was my fault. She's a kid. She was freaking out. I was like, that's not why you messed up the lyrics. And she said, then why? Then why? Something like that. And I said, because you're a singer, and sometimes singers mess up the lyrics. Boom, end of story. For as long as you're a singer, you are going to sometimes mess up the lyrics. It doesn't matter. Your self-worth isn't tied up in it. That's what I want people to get out of this.
Right. And I know when I had my mishap, I was thinking about how you told me about how Christina Aguilera messed up the national anthem at one point and kept on going. So
yes,
it happens to
you wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know because she just kept going. And yes, what you were going to say is it happens to the best of us, 100%. Mm-hmm. Only people who are trying to sing along got to a place where they're like, I don't think these are the lyrics. But she just kept going like a pro and good. And I have used her as an example many times since then, just to try to appease my students a little bit. Tell us about your mishap.
Well, it happened at the open mic that we went to a few weeks back. The third song, it was really cool because it feels very different to have a live musician playing next to you. So I was feeling it more, but then I forgot where I was in the song. So luckily we both were able to figure it out eventually, and then we got through the song. But my first initial reaction was just to want to stop and start over. That's kind of what I was thinking, but I said, no, Judy would tell me to keep going. So I just kind of just wung it, and luckily we got it at the end, but
you did. Yes. You started together. You ended together. What more can you ask for? I once years ago was in a band. I was the keyboardist. I had two keyboards layered on top, to a stand that could hold two. And we were doing Dance to the Music, which is like a one chord song that we opened a lot of sets with because you go around to the musicians, the singers sort of say drummer, and then there's a little drum solo, and then I don't remember bass. There's a bass solo. I don't remember. Oh, basses don't go like this. But anyway, and then the horn section, and then the keys. And so I had this little like, and I ran my hand across the keyboard. I can't remember if it was up or down now. It's been a really long time. But the whole top keyboard went gunk while I was playing. And it was the first song. So all I could do was like look around in my spot because we just began a set. And the only thing I had to hold it up was a roll of toilet paper. Super sexy. Everyone in the audience was like, oh my God, I so want that keyboardist. I'm sure. You do what you got to do. Anything else from Malgosia? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I think it helps because, I think you sort of almost have to practice through your mishaps because I think the first, it's one of those things where I think at first you want to freeze and not go on, but 100%. I think you learn that you kind of just have to keep it moving.
And that's why you have to keep performing to be a better performer.
Right. So you can know how to screw up. Right.
Keep going, pretty much.
All right. So you mentioned another thing. Let's see. She mentioned that she had a mishap where during her concert, her laptop nearly died. And then she was trying to kind of fix it while she was performing. But then she realized that she probably should just move on because she didn't want to spend all her energy on the laptop and fixing
Good choice. Yeah. That's a good choice. Yeah. I'm trying to think if we had any, I can't remember what the details were. I know we like the electricity went off once for us I think it was during a wedding, and we were all just electrified because somehow when you say to a wedding, like someone who hires you for a wedding, we need electricity wherever the stage is, they think one outlet with a power cord that has a whole bunch of cords in it is good, and it's not. So I've had many times where electricity just went off, and we're just like, you try to keep singing, but you can't. It happens. And again, it didn't stop us from getting future gigs. It made us write more into the contract, things like need more than one electric source, please.
So it's like a learning as you go type journey.
100%. So is that it for the mishaps? Have I
yeah, I mean, she also noted an electricity going off for her as well. When she was singing a romantic piece, she said, "Night is too short." And then the electricity returned shortly after. So I think electricity seems to be a common theme.
It is. But you keep going and you just kind of deal with it. Totally. I'm trying to think if there was a time, this is probably the most embarrassing performance mishap because I messed up the key of the song we were playing. I was playing keys and it was a Bob Marley song and the little clap part cued the singers when to come in. And I did it in the wrong key. And then this was early on. So I flipped out because I had debilitating performance anxiety and I didn't know what to do and I didn't know how to fix it because I couldn't think. And I just laughed uncontrollably. And the singers finally came in without me. And by the second verse, I had figured out what key I was in. But it's just me laughing uncontrollably, kind of like an idiot. But I got through it.
And you didn't give up, obviously.
I didn't. I wanted to. But I didn't. Other people laughed with me, so that helps. So if you have a bandmate who screws up really bad, laugh with them so they can move on. Well, if that's all we have for mishaps, if anybody in the audience has a mishap, please share because they're fun. But you can move on to whatever's next.
Yeah, so we have some questions, it looks like. One from Judy Hool. We said, what's advice for singers who perform accompanying themselves and still want to remember good technique?
So I've talked about this a little in previous lives. You have to create the conditions of your performance if you want to perform your best. When you practice, you have to create the conditions of your performance. So Judy Hull in particular, because she's a keyboardist, when we do ribcage work, sometimes I have her sit at the piano or I just tell her when she practices it to sit at the piano and she'll just put her hands out here to try to remember to focus on her back. Sorry, losing my voice. Guitarists like to hump over their guitar, especially if they feel uncertain of themselves. They like to look at their fingers. You can't sing well if your stomach is like pushed in like that. So you do have to practice the way that you want to perform, because if you just do your ribcage workouts separate from all of that, and then you go on stage and you're in your stage situation that you're accustomed to, all that's going to go out the window. You're just going to go back to whatever you did before. So you have to practice it in the circumstances that you're going to perform.
Yeah, that makes sense. I know that was something that I learned because I was so used to when I would practice at home standing up, and then I was for the open mic sitting down. And so I had to practice, and it sounds so silly, but sitting down singing, it feels different than standing up. So I had to
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Sitting down, sometimes when people sing with a lot of pressure and force, I will have them sit down because it usually makes you sing more relaxed, which is a good thing. Yeah. So that was perfect. You sounded so good when you did that live. So apparently it worked for you. Not shucks.
Do you want me to go on to the next question?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So it's from the next question is from Liz Sumner. And she says, when performing, I struggle with dealing with the PA because no one else knows better. Maybe learning a few things about how to make your voice sound its best when you're stuck with an inexperienced sound engineer. Maybe there are common mistakes. For example, I kind of like to hear myself sounding bassy, but that's not what's best for the overall mix.
Gotcha. So you could probably do an entire show on this topic. The bottom line is you have to learn what is best for your voice. So sometimes singers spend hours, months, years developing their singing voice, and then they go and sing out with a crappy little mic, or they can't hear themselves, or whatever it is. And all that work that they did was almost for naught. If you're on stage and you can't hear yourself, you're going to oversing. You're going to strain your voice. You're going to fatigue your voice. For example, that's just one example. So as far as knowing how you sound, you're going to have to do a little bit research. I recommend, if you're creating a project, if it's at all possible, fit a sound person into your budget, because it's way better having someone out in the audience who can adjust sound so that you don't have to. One less thing for you to worry about. But in the meantime, you need to learn what sounds good for you. You need to be a stickler. This is especially true for women, because a lot of women don't want to seem demanding or say what they need. Or if you're just a newbie, you're not sure what you need. It can be hard to sort of step up and say it. But you have to be able to hear yourself, and you have to like how you sound, because nobody sings well if the sound coming back to you is crappy. If your voice sounds crappy, you're not going to sing your best. So you need to make sure that you can hear yourself. You need to make sure you have decent reverb. For me personally, I lower my highs a lot because I like the quality of my voice better when I do that. But your voice might be different. So you're going to have to do a little bit of that research yourself. And if you don't know how to do the research yourself, ask for help. Preferably not from your bandmates, for someone outside the band. So there's no hierarchy thing. But ask for help.
Cool. Good advice.
Yeah. Have you had any experiences with, you've done some open mics now?
Yeah.
Do you speak up when the sound isn't good, or has the sound been not good?
I'm trying to think. I think I definitely know with like when I've done karaoke, the sound hasn't been, but I haven't said anything because it's just karaoke. But open mic, I know we had one issue, but I don't know if it was the microphone. It was more of the sound, like didn't come through very loud. But I think that was, but we were trying to fix it. But I think I don't know what happened. But yeah, so I haven't really noticed with the microphone too much. But I know with sometimes the sound, like sometimes you can't hear the music quite loud enough. But I think because I'm new, I think you made a good point, because I feel like, well, I don't have to say anything because I'm like new, or I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, what do I know? Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a good thing to work on changing, because you're the singer and you need to hear yourself and you need to like what you hear. Peyton, hi Peyton. He said hello. And Liz Sumner has a follow-up question for her question. Do you lower the highs for the audience show? Here it is. Do you lower the highs for the audience mix, or just for the monitor, for everything? Because that's how I want to sound to the audience. And this is why, if you have a sound person, it cuts into your income, especially like I'm in Western Mass and it's a pretty crappy music market. So you don't make a lot of money already unless you work your way up to be a really coveted band. So in the beginning, you might be digging into your gas money, whatever. Um, but it's worth it. I think it's totally worth it if you care about the sound. Did that answer your question, Liz? I hope so. Peyton, do you have any questions? Are you still here? I don't know if he's still here. Ask a question if you got one. Meanwhile, what else you got?
Let's see.
Or do you have more?
I think we have one more. And
Okay.
I think it's from Liz again. It says, another thought is where to pitch Christmas carols so you don't have to squeak during Oh Holy Night.
It's not a bad idea if you're leading Christmas carols a cappella to have a device. Oops, I just lost one of my earbuds. It's the darn hat. Is to have access to something that you can hear, the pitch that you like. That happened once in a band we were doing. It was New Year's Eve, and fortunately, everyone had been drinking for hours, and we're outside looking at the fireworks, so it was fine. Nobody cared. But the lead singer started, "Should all acquaintance be forgot?" She was way up, and nobody. Da, 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 da. Everybody was doing their best opera. It was pretty hard. So when you're not sure, you could just start really low, especially if you know the song goes up. But it's good to have like something on your phone that you can listen to right before you start, so that you know which pitch to start on.
Cool.
Hi, Peyton. Peyton is a guitarist and singer. Do you have any performance mishaps you want to share? I'll give you a chance to write that if you have one. Have you ever needed to lead an a cappella song, Allison?
Me? No, never.
All right, we're going to have to put that on the list of things I make Allison do.
You're always pushing me.
I try. Oh, so maybe Peyton doesn't have any mishaps he wants to share, or he's typing one right now. I don't know. Oh, wait. Well, I'm a sound guy let me share. I'm a sound guy at the Pizza Stone, and I have had singers tell me how they want it, or sometimes they don't know what they wanted. Yeah, that's very true. That's why it's on the singers to learn, and that can take time, but it's on you to learn how you want your sound to be so that you can sing your best and walk away feeling really good about it. I don't envy sound guys. I think lots of people don't know what they're talking about. Lots of people scream into the mic when it's really close to them instead of using microphone technique. So I feel for you, Peyton. Okay, I think that's going to wrap it up, unless there's something else on your list.
No, I think I covered the list.
Okay, so next time, since I'm sick, that's why I'm wearing the hat for any of you who got here late. Allison is sick. We were going to do this in the same room, but we didn't do that. So I was thinking that next week we would talk about singer's health, what to do if you get sick and you have a gig, what to do if you just feel like your voice isn't its best. You might not be sick, but do you do throat sprays? Do you do tepid tea? What do you do? Let's talk about that. And next time, if you have any questions or stories or comments in the realm of singer's voice health, send me a thread write that into the comment thread or send me a message. I was distracted because Liz, thank you. I'll try to get better, Peyton. Liz asked me to do a live on basic sound engineering. So I might have to get a professional for that. Maybe Peyton. Maybe Peyton can help us with that. All right, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. Allison, thank you for doing this with me.
Thank you.
We will be meeting here again next Monday at 1:00. Please join us or share your topic, stories, questions before then. And I'll see you next time. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.